let's stick with you. Let me hear your finals matchup and prediction.
So, I talked about the Lakers hitting their stride at the end of the season, being unstoppable in the playoffs, and I got to continue that. So, I have them playing the Nets, the series everyone wants to see, and I think the Nets, I talked about how Kyrie makes a difference, but I think Kyrie, there or not, they're still going to come out of the East, just because I think KD's going to play better than Giannis. However, in the finals, the Lakers, even if Kyrie's there, are going to beat them. It's going to be a closer series, but I think Kyrie's not going to beat there. I think the Lakers are going to win in 6. LeBron's going to reestablish himself as the best player in basketball. And the Lakers, and LeBron's also going to make himself, I think this might be LeBron's last title. But they have Anthony Davis, who matches up really well with KD, and I just think they're the best player in basketball. Yes, I'm biased, but the Lakers are going to win the finals.
Fair. I happen to agree with that for some different reasons. Like I said earlier, I have
you haven't played the Bucks.
I have the Bucks beating the Nets. I love the Nets. I don't love them as a fan. I love them watching them. They're so talented. They're such a great team. Can't trust their injuries. Can't trust.
I could see that. I was on the fence. I think the Bucks is a safe pick. Mm-hmm. I'm just trying to say what I picture happening, and I picture KD outplaying Giannis regardless of Kyrie.
That is completely fair. I just can't get behind such an injury-prone team. Harden basically missing entire postseason.
If Durant and
Kyrie might not play.
If Durant and Harden are playing,
if fully healthy, that's going to be
no Kyrie. Because I think KD outplays Giannis, and they've Harden.
Harden's a top 3 player
It's a joke
in the league
that Harden's there.
But I think the Bucks find a way, and I think my finals matchup here, it's going to be Lakers in 7. It's going to be an all-time great final series. It's going to be on the levels of those Cavs-Warriors series, like the good ones.
I think the Nets provide a much bigger threat to the Lakers if they make it, even if they're unhealthy, just because I don't see the Bucks matching up that well.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my question to you. LeBron finals MVP in the finals.
Can I say one thing about that real quick? If he wins finals MVP, just so you know, it has part to do with bias. I'm willing to admit that about Jordan, too. The best player in the league, if they win the championship, they will get the finals MVP.
Do they?
The one exception to that was the Iguodala step, and I know you're about to say that. That blows my mind to this day still. But I know you're about to ask, would I consider LeBron the GOAT? I'd consider him and Jordan right there now.
I think if he has an easy path, if some teams are injured, if he breaks it up, I have LeBron as my GOAT now. I could respect that. If LeBron goes in there and beats the Brooklyn Nets with Kyrie, Kevin Durant, and James Harden, I don't care if LeBron goes and gets Dame on his team. I do. That's sarcasm. But even though LeBron is Westbrook and AD, I can't respect you if you don't think he's the GOAT in that scenario.
I think they're tied at that point. And here's why.
If he beats Brooklyn, Jordan, so far, LeBron already has so much more finals competition than Jordan. Jordan, the best team he played was those Jazz teams. Those Jazz teams were good. I'm not taking anything away. But Jordan never played a team near the Warriors.
That's true.
Or even the Young Thunder. The Young Thunder were still young. Mm-hmm. It was young Westbrook, young Harden, young Durant, but they're still very good.
Mm-hmm.
As for teams you lost to, those Thunder teams, the Mavs team, the Spurs team, that was a dynasty. I think, even though he has one less title, the fact that he's getting it with all these different teams, all these different role players, all these different ages, against teams that are that much better than the teams Jordan plays, I think you have to say he's the GOAT by a slim margin.
I'd say they're tied, and here's why. Jordan, statistically, I think is still better. No. I think they're right there. I think Jordan's better, though, and I'm willing to stand by that. I think
if LeBron this year goes out and wins Finals MVP in a series where they beat the Nets.
I have them being the Bucks, but I get what you're saying. I still think they're tied. I think 6 titles puts LeBron over. I really, really do. I think Jordan, just his legacy offensively and defensively, he's arguably the greatest offensive player of all time.
Yeah, but here's what we're gonna move on from this. But what I'm gonna say is LeBron.
We'll do a full episode.
LeBron even if he has one less title, with him having harder competition, less good teammates.
Better teams though. Better teammates.
I disagree. Because Scottie Pippen is better than Anthony Davis in the grand scheme of things, and LeBron's a better defender.
Wrong,
LeBron's a better defender. That has been statistically proven. Even though Jordan has his one defensive player of the year, LeBron's been consistently a better defender. LeBron's a better passer. Jordan's a better scorer. But if LeBron has those 5 rings at all different ages, the longevity, I think you've got to say LeBron is better. I think you can be able to admit if he beats the Bucks coming off last year's title, it's a great team, or the Nets with all 3 of their players, you should consider him the GOAT.
I'd consider there to be 2 GOATs instead of 1.
Okay, but who would you consider the slight favorite? LeBron. You got to give it to LeBron.
There's a recency bias and a longevity bias there. I think you can admit that. Longevity.
Just tell me who your GOAT would be officially, even though it's close.
There's 2
GOATs.
There's 2.
Give me one guy.
There's 2.
LeBron.
I can't pick one.
Get rid